It's your boy Concept34, and Phish announces its 2022 summer tour. I already had a spring goal in mind of seeing Phish at MSG, but now I have to decide what am I going to see for summer 2022. And while I was getting ready for this video and excited about this tour announcement, there's been a song that was stuck in my head for the last 3 days, and I can't remember the name of it. And because Phish is a jam band, there's no lyrics I can go look up to find it. And I'm like, no, it's not Julius. No, it's not Harry Hood. I know it's a minor chord that's part of it, either the jam or the beginning. And then I kept playing song after song, 30-second intro after 30-second intro, and then I found it. I was looking for Stash. I love the intro of Stash. So here we go. Phish Noob, episode 3. Let's go.
From under my nails, I push past the gum to put it on rails. The smoking companion, I cast down the ash. Put down my tunic and tangle my staff. Zipping through the forest where the curling fleas, to growing up spindles.
So, it's your boy Concept34, and this is Phish Noob. I am a new Phish fan. Last summer of 2021, I got my vaccination, waited a couple days, and drove down to Virginia, an 8-hour drive from where I live in Connecticut, and listened to a whole lot of Phish. It finally clicked, and I began this journey of being a Phish fan. I plan to go to one of the MSG shows in April, and then now they announce this 2022 spring/summer tour. I want to break it down. I have the expertise of going to so many concerts since 2008, from hip-hop of J. Cole to Elton John to Dead and Company to the Allman Brothers Band to Dave Matthews Band to John Mayer to the Vans Warped Tour, okay? If there's a show, I probably have seen it. I've even seen Luke Bryan at the Houston Rodeo when I was on a business trip. I have expertise and knowledge of live venues, of ticketing, through my experience working at StubHub years ago. And I also just know a lot of random facts about a lot of random venues. And I love geography and I love traveling across the country to see live music. So I wanted to break down my thoughts of looking at a Phish tour now that I am officially a Phish fan, and kind of compare it to some other things I've seen in my past history of seeing live music. So here we have it, the spring/summer 2022 tour dates, which are awesome to get. One thing I noticed is we got a lot of multi-night runs. It's a little different than even some other jam bands I like. They do a lot more multi-night runs. They have 3 shows in Orange Beach, Alabama. Most jam bands aren't doing 3 shows in the Deep South. Maybe a Widespread Panic, but most times they're only doing 1 show and maybe 2 if you're lucky, as a lot of the jam band fans are more up north, out west, at least from my experience. But Phish is going to do 3 in Orange Beach, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to travel for those. They then have a South Carolina run. This is a venue that Phish did sell out previously, or at least sell well previously, in Charleston. South Carolina is a growing market for people to migrate to. more towards the beach, but still, all of Low Country will be getting down low and funky to Phish for 2 nights, May 31st and June 1st. One thing I noticed as a Dave Matthews Band fan, they also have dates here for June 3rd and June 4th. So you could be a Phish and Dave Matthews Band fan and pull up for May 31st, June 1st, take a little bit of time off, and then June 3rd and June 4th. What a awesome run if you are a fan of both those bands. I know a lot of people don't like Dave Matthews Band, but some do. They like both. And then they got the Deer Creek 3-night run. Again, I don't know of any other band that does Deer Creek for 3 nights. I think it's only Phish. We get to Mansfield, Mass, which also doesn't get that many 2-night runs as a New Englander. Dead and Company did one as far as a 2-night run, but that's really it. All other bands, they do one night and they move on to another city. They have a show in Maine, which again doesn't get a lot of shows, but I've heard great things about this amphitheater out in Bangor, and it's going to be a banging time out there. 2 at the Man in Philly, which again doesn't get a lot of Live Nation major events like on the scale of Phish or other rock bands. Usually it's more of a performing arts center that gets smaller acts or an acoustic duo like Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds in 2017. 2 nights at Bethel Woods, again another venue, again as a Phish noob but a fan of many different other bands that do Bethel Woods. 2 nights. So it's interesting to see that this is a fan base that's going to fill a demand where you're staying 2 nights, not just in a couple stops, but a lot of different stops. My home venue of Hartford, the Meadows, I still call it the Meadows even though it's Xfinity Theater. That's the show that we'll talk about a little later as I look at for ticket requests. Jones Beach for 2 nights. Again, I don't know of any other band that does 2 nights at Jones Beach. It's a Long Island's unique and different. You'll have stuff that pops off in New York City or even at the old Nassau Coliseum / UBS Center. But Jones Beach, you typically get 1 night. You load in, you load out, and the band or artist is going to the next stop. So again, it's interesting to see 2 at Jones Beach. And Raleigh gets 1 night. That's standard for most people. Meriwether gets 2 nights. And again, a lot of shows aren't even happening at Meriwether. It's an older venue. People are opting to be further south, like South Carolina, or do Camden, New Jersey, or do something up in New England. Meriwether doesn't get a lot of shows anymore, but they got 2 Blossom Pineline. These are just staples on any live music stop tour. And then 3 in an AC. Again, we're looking at another 3-night stand. This is not something I'm used to seeing for other bands I like that do these type of venues. We have a Toronto show, which I know I've seen people on Twitter excited about that. And then they have 3 at Alpine. Again, a historic venue where you had other acts do this in the past, but only, to my knowledge, Phish is the only one still doing this. We'll see what Dead and Company does for Alpine if they even perform there. And then you have a foursome here for all the polygamists out in the Mountain West. Shout out to Utah. No, let me stop. But you got 4 up here for Dick's Sporting Goods Park. So just interesting to see all the 3-night stands and the 4-night stand as, again, a Phish noob. And a lot of the venues that they're doing 2-night stands at or 3-night stands, most acts that used to be able to do 2 nights don't do it anymore. So again, just important. And then going back up to the top to reiterate, I don't see a lot of Southern 3-night stands for any band. Again, maybe Widespread Panic does it and I'm missing it, but Panic is the only band I can think of that has that reverence down south. Most of the other jam bands, they do a festival or 1 or 2 nights at best. So just, again, an observation from a Phish noob. So I wanted to walk you through my first ever exploration into requesting Phish tickets. I was talking to some people from other forums, non-Phish related, and said, hey, how do I join the fan club? They're like, there is no fan club. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I know people request tickets. They're like, there is no Phish fan club. I'm like, wait, no, stop playing. How much do I have to pay? And the people said, there is no fan club. Go on Phish.com and request tickets. And I looked online. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, you request tickets, but you don't pay any sort of fees. And after the request period ends, you will either be confirmed or denied. And I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Pearl Jam, I got to join the 10 Club. Dave Matthews Band, I got to join the Dave Matthews Band fan club. If I was more of a Zac Brown Band fan, although his new music kind of sucks, and I joined the Zamily, I would have to pay something But nope, Phish is free. That's awesome. So I looked at the rules. All right, tickets are going to be mobile, which I heard people aren't too happy about. They don't have the hard stock tickets anymore, but the times are changing. If you are granted tickets, you will receive a separate ticket confirmation for each show that you are granted tickets, and each show will be charged a separate transaction between February 25th and March 2nd. The charges on your card will be from Phish tickets. You will receive a ticket request summary email when processing is complete. The email will let you know the status of all of the shows on your ticket request. And then I started to scroll down. I was like, slave to the ticket request process. And I said, all right, I want to select my shows. I'm going to know by 11:59 Eastern, Wednesday, March 2nd, if I'm confirmed or denied. And the ticket request period ends on February 25th, 2022. So let's go. So I said, you know what? I already have 12 shows scheduled for the summer, so I can't go to everything I want to go to. I would really love to go to Deer Creek for Phish, but I already have a trip actually out there for Dave Matthews Band. I may go to these Mansfield shows, aka Great Woods, but right now I don't want to request it because, again, I already have so many things on the docket, and I could have something that conflicts with it. I keep going down. All right, Philly. Let's go Flyers. I got my Flyers blanket black there. My girlfriend made custom for me. But the Mann Center, it's a smaller venue. It's a 4-hour drive. I'm gonna pass Bethel Woods, pass, and I see Hartford, Connecticut. I've been born and raised in Hartford County. This is my home venue. We call it the Meadows still. So I'm gonna request here. You know what? This is gonna be my only request. So I wanted to take a look to see. All right, let's see what I gotta do. I want quantity. My face is in front of quantity. And I'm going to put 1 for the quantity of tickets. I don't need ADA. And I'm like looking at this. $95 is the most expensive ticket for the pit. This is amazing. Other bands have gone so much higher in price. And listen, it is what it is. But yo, I get to see Phish, and the most I'm going to pay is $95 for face value. And then the fees are going to get me to around $107.10. This is awesome. Now, this is something that is a little bit of shocking. You can't opt out of the lawn. So I could get a lawn ticket for Dave Matthews Band, for instance. I can opt out of the lawn. So you know what? If you don't have any reserved, just deny me. Just smack me across the face and say, nope, you ain't getting tickets. Sorry, as they say in Canada. So I can't do that, but the best available, which I selected, enters me into the request into a random selection process for either reserved seating or general admission tickets across all price levels where applicable. So I could pay, if we zoom in here, I could pay $95. I could pay $85 plus fees. $75 plus fees are $49.50 for GA lawn. And I'm just going to put this request in. I'm going to add show. And then I'm going to continue because, again, as much as I would love to see Alpine, one of the first Phish shows I listened to front to back was one of those Alpine runs. There was a Reba. I can't remember what year it was, but there was a Reba that was incredible. It was amazing. It was awesome. But I'll have to try Alpine another time. I am going to Alpine this year for the first time ever for Dave Matthews Band. But I will have to do this trip one year, and I will also have to figure out how to get to Dick's Sporting Goods Park. I've heard from other people this is a hard ticket to get. Obviously, it's out west, where you have a lot of people love to go out to Colorado for this. That's at the MLS Stadium out there for the Rapids. Actually, Snoop Dogg performed there with Dave Matthews Band one time, and that would have been a cool concert. Hey, Snoop should open up for Phish September 1st through 4th. That would be pretty dope. So I'm going to continue through. Now, I want to see what I can buy. I don't want this shirt. I'm going to pass on the shirt. Pretty cool, but I don't want to buy it. This tote is tempting. This is a tempting tote. So I can walk around New England, the home of Phish, all summer when I go on my various hikes and runs and explorations around New England, being a Connecticut resident who loves Vermont and New Hampshire and Massachusetts. And I don't really get up to Maine that much, but maybe this year I'll get back to Maine. It's been a while. But I could rock around my little fish toe, but I'm going to pass on that. Then there's a nice little vinyl. I'm going to pass on that as well. And I'm going to go to continue. And I'm not going to do this part. I'm going to, all right, so Ticketmaster Mobile, USA Digital. Not going to do this in front of you guys because then you could know my personal information and hack all my stuff and steal my identity. So I will end it here. But I got to say, love the price point. 95 is the max plus 12.10 service fees. When you're looking at other bands that get the ticket sales, Phish was in the top 10 gross sales last year, 2021. I believe they were 7th on Polestar. But to be in the top 10 of sales and only have to pay the most 95 plus fees, 107.10 the max for my show, that is incredible, folks. That's incredible because most other acts that sell this well are not charging that little. Matter of fact, you can't even look outside in the parking lot from some of these shows for Rolling Stones. I love the Stones. Super expensive. Dude, what is it? Guns N' Roses. Look, legendary act. You're paying $1 bajillion to see a shell of it. But Phish still doing their thing, still balling and killing it every night, playing unique sets pretty much every night. You have no repeats for weeks on a Phish tour from looking at the history. You're getting a really great deal. One thing I can touch on with more experience, being a observer of different concert trends, there's no Gorge show. A lot of fans are upset. There's no West Coast run for Phish for this spring/summer tour, really outside of Denver, which is Mountain Time Zone. It's not even Pacific Time Zone. I'll say all this to say that I love the Pacific Northwest. I love the West Coast. But the West Coast, there's not a lot of stops. And a lot of the venues are aging or older. Or you go to Southern California and it's expensive to transport all this stuff around. And it's hard to get a venue that's available for a show like Phish. And the West Coast is all or nothing. You really have to tackle the West Coast, go to Bend, Oregon, go to the Gorge, hit up Harvey's, whatever it's called, at the Tahoe region of Nevada, right at the California border. You have to hit Southern California. Northern California is not getting a lot of love from many bands nowadays. And it's just, again, it's not close to anything. And with the cost of everything going up, a lot of acts are cashing in on how convenient it is to tour the East Coast, as far as the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, the southern part of the country, and you're seeing the Midwest even lose dates. St. Louis doesn't get a lot of shows. Kansas never really got much love, but it doesn't get any love now. And you're seeing even a Chicago market that has a horrible amphitheater out there on the water right by Soldier Field. What is that? That is called Northern Island Pavilion, whatever that thing is, right? It's not an ideal venue. There's wind and all that stuff. So you're seeing the Midwest lose a lot of shows overall in concert trends. You're seeing the West Coast, Pacific Time Zone, lose a lot of trends. Denver is growing and expanding, Fiddlers and Red Rocks and Dick's Sporting Goods. And even the arena there where the Nuggets and Avalanche play, the name keeps changing. Is it Ball Arena still? Let me know. But I say all that to say, the bread and butter of touring for most acts now is the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, and South. The Midwest has its Deer Creek. You may touch Alpine, but not many bands do Alpine because of just the complexities and the local mandates to not have as many shows because the people at the farms there don't want a lot of noise all summer. So I say all that to say that these are trends that are going to only grow. You're going to see more South Carolina shows at a Charleston venue like Phish is playing, Dave Matthews Band, other bands are playing. You're going to see growth down south as populations shift to South Carolina and Georgia, and they've always been moving down to Florida. And you're going to see the East Coast and Mid-Atlantic, while taxes are going up, people are fleeing the East Coast. There's still a lot of fans there. There's still large population crowds that love jam bands. You're going to still see those be consistent, even though everything else is leaving the Northeast and taxes are only going up here. We still get a lot of concerts. Hartford, Connecticut gets more live major concerts than St. Louis, Missouri. Why? Because it's close to Boston. It's close to New York. It's very convenient to take a stop in Hartford on the, and then keep going into Jones Beach like a Phish is going to do. So you're going to see more shows out east, Mid-Atlantic, South. You're going to see less West Coast tours. In the Midwest is going to be cut to Alpine, Deer Creek, and maybe another venue, and that's just it is what it is. You can hate it, but that's the way of the world. Things change, and that's what we're seeing with Phish. That's what I'm seeing with other bands that I'm tracking their tours. Is that the Midwest and the West are losing. Denver is winning. The East Coast from north as far north as Bangor, Maine now, and really Boston as far south as Florida is getting a lot of shows. And even Northern California, like I said earlier, is not getting as many shows. LA gets a lot of shows, but it still misses a lot of tours because all these venues are booked. And it also is hard just to hit LA, and there's not much in Central California, and there's limited in Northern California. So the times are changing. It is what it is. You can be upset, but that's how it is. So, what did my Phish noob self learn today? I learned that you don't have to pay a fan club fee. You just put a request in, you figure out if you're denied or accepted. There is a slight downside. You may get lawn, you may not. But you can't opt out of the lawn like some other fan clubs saying, hey, I want to reserve the nothing. Nope, you may get shoved in the lawn. I also learned that there are a lot of 3-night and 2-night runs. You don't see that really anywhere in this size venue. Maybe in some smaller venues, but not in these larger Live Nation amphitheaters. I also realized that the song that was stuck in my head was Stash, and I love Stash, and I love the intro, and I'm actually learning it on guitar. More to come on that. If I actually get good at that song, that'll be another Phish Noob episode. So stay tuned. If you are watching me for the first time, you're like, who's this dude talking about Phish? And he probably pronounced something wrong, and he probably got some other stats wrong. I am a long time, well, not long time, I'm only 31, but since 2008, I've been passionate about seeing live music of all kinds, and I'm sharing my journey into being a Phish fan. I'm not trying to push these videos out just to push a video out every week, but as I get inspiration from learning a lick from Phish, listening to a song and finding something unique, I want to give you perspective as somebody who's seen jam bands, who's seen rock bands, who's seen hip hop, and finds things that Phish does that's pretty dope, and it's like a hot beat, like the hip hop head I am as a kid, seeing my uncle have the Chronic album when I was 3 years old. So I want to bring unique perspective. I want to take you guys on the journey, and I'm always receptive to feedback. Do you want me to listen to a live Phish album? Do you want me to listen to a version of Harry Hood or a version of Slave to the Traffic Light that I really should know about? Please put it in the comments. And if I messed up anything, if I butchered anything, if I was inaccurate somewhere about Phish or about a venue or about a stat, let me know as well. I'm all about learning. I do not care about feedback. I welcome it. It's your boy ConcertViz34, and until next time, peace.